Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the story by Shirley Jackson called The Good Wife, which was published in my 2017 copy here of Dark Tales that was published by Penguin Classics, which we're doing a deep dive into. Shirley Jackson is one of the most beloved horror writers of all time. I had read two things prior to doing this deep dive into her. The first was her seminal novel, The Haunting of Hill House, which has inspired a few movies. And some very big, nice ones that are out there. And I read that for this channel a couple of years ago for spring break. And I really enjoyed it a lot. And then I read The Lottery when I was a kid in school. And I really enjoyed that too. I haven't reviewed that one for the channel yet. But if I did, I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10. And I love them both. And so now I want to do a deep dive into this beloved horror writer. This collection, Dark Tales, does include some stories in it that aren't 100% horror, which is fine. I'm still doing reviews for them. I've done reviews for lots of stories that are by major name people in their field that aren't, that genre. For example, I've done stories by Robert E. Howard, the most influential, one of the most influential fantasy writers of all time, with his Conan the Barbarian stuff. But an introduction of that sort of barbarian versus the noble savage versus the decadent civilized person, and a lot of stuff that came later. But at the same time, he also wrote a ton of boxing short stories too, which I've done reviews for. I also did a review of a short story called The Blue Flame of Vengeance, which is in his Solomon Kane series, which is a lot of horror and fantasy stuff. But that one doesn't have any of those elements to it. There's also a Conan short story, which I've done a review for, where the only bad guy is a saber-toothed tiger. Does a saber-toothed tiger count as an actual proper fantasy person? It's a real life thing. It's just a nasty one. So, I've done reviews of those things by Robert E. Howard. And Stephen King, for example, wrote some stories, novels and so forth that are not in his horror stuff. What would you do with him? So I'm doing reviews of Shirley Jackson anyway. The Good Wife has a potential horror interpretation of it, but I don't really consider it a horror, and certainly not written like a horror short story. But it was pretty quick. I read it last night for about 15 pages. Knocked it out. It was a lot of fun. So we're doing a deep dive then into this iconic writer. I would consider her in my Mount Rushmore of the four most influential horror writers of all time, along with Stephen King, H.P. Lovecraft, and Edgar Allan Poe. You're much may vary on that. Now I'm going to be giving it a 7- out of 10 to it. It wasn't that gripping or that strong, but again, it's only 7 pages long, and so forth. So there's not a lot happening in this short story. So I'm giving it a 7-, like a 6.8 or 6.7. That I round up to a 7 rather than a proper 7 but still overall a 7 out of 10. But it's nice, and I enjoyed it, and it's definitely worth your time. And again, it's a fast read. It won't take too much of your time. So that is The Good Wife by Shirley Jackson. Well, have you read it? What'd you think of it? Would you like to talk about some spoilers below? Because I keep my reviews spoiler-free. Whatever your thoughts about this short story, let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hey, why not hit that subscribe button? Because there's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives. We're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling. And I appreciate it. So thanks again. Have an amazing day.